Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
When I first got online and I seen the price of the X2 and the DNA Force, I was a little hesitant, but I pulled the trigger on it. It has changed my life. I've been taking it for about 24 days now, counting the weight, staying in shape.
InfoWarsLife.com. You've heard the callers to the show.
Several months back, I started taking your Nascent Iodine and your Super Meal. Prior to this, I was barely walking. Now I'm able to function as a human again.
Whether it's Survival Shield, Nascent Iodine, or DNA Force, Super Male Vitality, Super Female Vitality, Lung Cleanse, Fluoride Shield, Oxy Powder. I believe that all of these products will blow you away like they've done the thousands of other customers that have visited InfoWarsLife.com.
That's too. Just amazing what it's able to do to actually detox the body. It's great stuff.
If I'm going to promote something, it's got to be something I personally use and that I believe in. Check out InfoWarsLife.com today and the entire line of groundbreaking, cutting-edge, hardcore products.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center in the heart of the resistance. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Welcome back to The Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight in Austin. We have Paul Joseph Watson with us in the UK. And on the line, we have Eric Rush, author of Negrophilia, From Slave Block to Pedestal. If you'd like to ask him questions or you have comments, you can call in at 800-259-9231. That's 800-259-9231. But before we go back to Mr. Rush, this hour of The Alex Jones Show is brought to you by Silver Bullet. We now have it back in stock. It's in limited supply. It will take at least 6 weeks to get it in once we run out again, because it's a very difficult, long period process to get these things done in this kind of concentration. We have 30 parts per million in a pure base of deionized water. That kind of concentration is very difficult to manufacture. That's why we have the long lead times to get this in. It's widely known colloidal silver is a vital supplement for maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Now, InfoWarsLife.com takes colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. There's never been a more important time to have a powerful and clean form of colloidal silver. Right now, we have flu season coming on us. We have all types of viruses that are circulating around. This is something you need to have within reach for you and your family. Go to InfoWarsLife.com, order Silver Bullet now, or you can call 888-253-3139. That's 888-253-3139. Now, reading from Mr. Rush's book, Negrophilia, Here's one of his definitions of course, he talks about it quite extensively, but I just wanted to read this quote. He says, Negrophilia is not by nature a conscious partiality toward or devotion to black people, but a subliminal persuasion toward affinity. It's essentially the result of an ongoing propaganda campaign that has underpinned positive stereotypes. I think that's interesting, especially in light of all the controversy we've heard lately about Bill Cosby. He had the show in the 1980s. That was a great show that was really kind of showing positive stereotypes almost in an over-the-top, unbelievable way, like we would have seen back in the 1950s. And, you know, Mr. Rush, when I looked at that, I always thought that was a good thing. My curiosity at the time, and I think it kind of reflects on your book here a little bit, is the fact that in the 1980s, even though they could show the perfect black family, we couldn't have had a perfect white family on television, really, without getting laughed out of town. Don't you think?
Absolutely, and I think that kind of plays to the double standard.
Yeah.
You know, I don't expect people to be perfect.
Right.
You know, I don't expect our society to be perfect. I mean, I think only, you know, there's that. I want to get away from that segment that thinks we can have utopia, because we really can't. But, you know, you have to get to where you can recognize when you're being exposed to an agenda or propaganda or not. And of course, when you have something that's as innocuous as a you know, NBC sitcom or whatever with this iconic, you know, beloved star, which Bill Cosby, I was going to say is, at least he was, then, you know, it was a nice show, as you said, but, you know, you have to put it into context. Like, what is it really representing? I mean, there were a lot of things that, came out of that show, even if it was a good one, that bugged me. For example, it may not be something that you had picked up on, but when, the intelligentsia decided that we were going to call blacks African Americans now. The Cosby Show was right out in front with that, right out in front. And I don't use that term. To me, African American is like, what the hell is that?
Yeah,
you know, exactly. I mean, if you're an African who's a naturalized citizen, U.S. citizen, I guess you're an African American. But I'm not, and most of the black people I know are not. I mean, because they don't know from Africa. I mean, and then again, what is with the necessity to hyphenate every damn individual in this country? Exactly.
We're so caught up on labels, and I don't know, you know, it's amazing how many times I've seen in my lifetime the label that they want to put on people that we now call black or call African American. It's like, why do they keep changing it? And I think that all boils down to this this premise that you've got in this book. I want to give people, some callers, a chance to ask some questions and comments. We've got David in Missouri. He wanted to ask a question about Ferguson. David, are you close to Ferguson?
Yeah, I mean, not close, probably 100 miles west.
Okay.
Closer to Kansas City.
We had a question for Mr. Rush.
Yeah, I mean, this is great to talk to you, Paul, and Mr. Rush all at once. I mean, I've heard you, David, and Paul say that what are the people out here, what are their, like, opinions on alternative things to do other than violence. I mean, I say everybody gets a transparent, legal neighborhood watch, armed neighborhood watch, and everybody takes care of each other. But, I mean, my question to Mr. Rush, I think Bill Cosby was, for the most part of his life, definitely, you know, juiced in, let's say. But I grew up watching shows like, you know, Cosby Show, Family Matters. I'm a Caucasian person. I think those shows, I mean, anything on TV is there to, you know, pass time at least. But my question is, what is your, to Mr. Rush, what is your nonviolent alternative to this Ferguson situation and situations to come? Because in every news article it says, white cop, black male. Like, that's just ridiculous. God bless you guys.
Yeah, well, you know, as someone was talking about this, I think, in the previous hour of the show, And that is the fact that, the police typically aren't going to police themselves. And so, you have to, while I have a respect for law enforcement, you do have to sort of look at the police with a critical eye to some extent, because you do have incidents of police brutality, and sometimes it's race-based, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's just a matter of the police involved having become these really jaded, brutal individuals, and those things have to be handled on an individual basis. The problem that we have here isn't, there may be a certain, there is a certain level of police misfeasance everywhere you're going to go. I mean, it doesn't matter. But the problem that we're having here is interpretation. When you have a situation in which you have so many disenfranchised blacks, in this case, it just happens to be blacks, who are disenfranchised for mostly economic reasons that can be traced to things other than white racism. And then you have it exploited due to this incident that, arises, Michael Brown. You have to look at it in context. The problem isn't police brutality as so much as it is the disenfranchised, angry, a lot of them impoverished, unemployed individuals who are being heavily propagandized. Yes. Well, that has a lot less to do with police brutality overall than it does a political agenda. So we have to address that first and foremost.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go to Stephen in Florida. Stephen, you have a question for Mr. Rush?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, I actually have three. First of all, I was wondering if, Mr. Rush, if you've seen the documentary that Alex was carrying and interviewed the author of that. It's a DVD called Dreams from My Real Father about Obama. Also, why do you think it is that blacks in America are so willing to keep themselves on the globalist plantation when they can clearly get off of it? And the third thing is, I have a friend, and the way he responds to Obama, and I'm wondering if you disagree with this from what you know of him, he says he's a teleprompter reading CIA sock puppet. And that's my question.
Okay. Now, who is it that they said was a CIA sock puppet?
Obama. My friend refers to him as a teleprompter reading CIA sock puppet.
Okay. Let me address them in order. One, no, I have not seen the DVD. I haven't seen the movie, the DVD, Dreams from My Real Father. Although I'm familiar with the content. Why do blacks stay on the plantation? Because it's what you go with what you know. I mean, we grew up being told Hitler was an evil guy. If we had grown up being told Hitler was, the next best thing to Jesus or Buddha, that's probably what we would have thought. You've got blacks who are being told by teachers, the press, agitators, community people, and people in their community, the Al Sharptons of the world, what the deal is and who can save them. And that's, typically, voting Democrat. And that's why they stay there. As far as Obama being a CIA sock puppet, right now he's kind of running the CIA, so I'm not quite sure how that would play out. I know that there are a lot of shadowy figures and parties, governments, organizations that played a part in his ascendancy. As far as who's pulling his strings now, any number of people. It's sort of him being a CIA sock puppet, in my view, is putting the cart before the horse right at this moment.
I want to get Paul Joseph Watson in with a comment, but I would say, going back to looking at some of this stuff, I look at the Indian reservation system. When you talked about, have you grown up thinking that Adolf Hitler was a great guy, then you would believe that. I think that when I look at the Washington plantation system that we have now, and that's really what it is a plantation system. It's really oppression masquerading as paternalism.
Yep.
We're here to protect you, but it's really the way that they oppress people. We see that now in the Indian reservations, of course. You know, that was originally not set up with the motivation that they were going to protect anybody except the white people from the Indians. They were going to contain them on those reservations. The way they pacified them was to separate the children from the family.